Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the shop. Thanks for hanging out with us for another one. We're gonna stay in the shop today and work on the 97 Type R. The suspension when it came in was a little bit off. It was a little bit high in the front, and the reason is we put on it not too long ago a set of Koni Yellows on the old Omni coilovers here. The intention today was to put a Skunk 2 camber kit on the front, but I don't think we're gonna do that because if you look in here, this is actually adjustable, this old school style camber setup where it's adjustable on the bottom. So I lubed that all up, and I think we're just gonna stick with that because it's gonna keep the stock control arm on the top here. It'd be fine to use a Skunk 2. I love the Skunk 2 product. It's a nice product, but in here, this is a $150,000 car. Well, one of these just recently sold for $151,000, so we're gonna try to keep as much OEM stuff on the car as we possibly can. But we gotta lower down this suspension right here and get it even with how the back is, and then set the suspension and get it to the ride height that we feel like would be good for driving around. We've gotta kind of figure out how many times to turn this thing down in order to get the ride height that we want. Oh, I guess we're gonna need some light. Let me grab a light. So under here is an old set of Omni coilovers. It's sort of like ground controls, I guess. So we just have to turn these down and try to adjust this right here, and that'll give us a little bit of ride height adjustment. Separate these and then turn it down. And that's gonna give us our ride height adjustment right there. Okay. Let's just mark this somehow so we know how many times we turned it. That's fine right there. Let me bring this one down. And then turn them up. That's the other side. That's what we think is going to work. Not really sure exactly what it's going to take, but that's what we think is going to match the back. So we'll see. So we kind of took a guess and we did about 5 turns down on those coilovers. We're just going to measure now and see where that puts us. Best thing to do for us is just pretty much drive it around the block, let the car sort of settle, and then take the measurements. And we want to kind of match where the back was already sitting because it was sitting pretty much how we want it to be. So we want to match the front to the back. Here we go. Okay, so if we look at the wheels, I like this one the best. If we're looking at the height, I think this is probably going to be the best ride height for us for this car. It's somewhere about in here, maybe a little bit taller than that even. I don't know. Let's see what do we have up here. This one has got a little bit of gap right here, a little bit more gap. I think we'll probably just try to match everything else up to, oh, I think, almost fell down. I think we'll just try to match everything else up. I think on this side, the car looks really good, but I think it's probably a little bit too low. All right, so the plan is to basically measure each wheel from the center, right up the center to the top right here, and then measure the other side, and then we'll try to make those match. Now, I know already that we put 32 pounds of air in the tire. 25 pounds. What does it say we should run them? 32. That's what I would think, right? 32. Boy. All right. I'll take that. Each tire's got 32 pounds of air in it right now, and that means we can go straight from the bottom. They should be pretty much the same distance from here to here, all the way around the circle with the tire with 32 pounds of air. As close as we're gonna get. We're gonna do the front, make sure the front's matching and make sure the back's matching. We're just gonna try to measure from the very center right here, come right up the center of the wheel, and then hit the top of the fender, just see what that measures out. And once we find a good ride height that we like, right here, that looks pretty good. Let's hold it right in the center of the wheel. Straight up, yeah, about an 8 there. So not too bad. We'll just try to see what the other side measures out and if it's higher or lower, and then also what we like. I definitely like this little bit of gap right here. So we'll take a look at the other side and see where it's at. This side I want to do the same thing. We got 32 pounds of air in the tire, so we want to get right to the center of the wheel. Just hold it in place there. And then see where we're at. So this side's gonna have to come up because I much prefer that side versus this side. We're gonna take this one off and raise that one up, but let's measure the back and see where they're sitting. There's a pretty decent gap here. I kind of like this amount of gap. You know, the car looks pretty level going, just looking down the side. Once we get it outside, I'll be able to stand further back and really take a good look at it. But for now, it really looks like this side's looking pretty good, looks pretty straight, looks pretty level as far as just eyeballing looking at the car. And I'm usually pretty good at that. So we'll go with that for now and just measure, see what this side is, and then we'll see what the other side is and decide which way we want to go. But I really kind of like this side. I think this ride height is looking pretty good on the side of the car. So let's measure this one, see what it looks like. Let's call that. Let's check the other side and see where that one's at. We're in the same situation here where we've got 32 pounds of air in the tire, and we're just gonna measure from the center. Center it up. That's pretty damn close. This side's just a little bit lower. Let's get right in the middle there. This side's just a little bit lower. We're gonna raise this side up just a little bit. So it looks like mostly this side has to come up, and that side is pretty close to set. So we'll do that real quick before we take it for a ride and let the whole suspension settle. I like to set everything up, tighten everything up, take it down the road, drive it around the block, and then bring it back and rip everything apart. It's a little time consuming and it's kind of repetitive to do over and over. But once my ride height is satisfactory to me, then I'll send it off to the alignment rack. I'll show you the back here. That is just moving the same two little collars. Yeah, so back here it's gonna be the same story. We're gonna move these little collars right here to raise it up. So I'll break these loose, raise this one up, tighten this one back up to it, and then tighten it back down. We'll just see how this translates out to the ride height. Put the wheel back on, set the car down, then we'll take it for a little rip around the block. So I'm gonna do is set the car down, rock it back and forth a little bit, get off the emergency brake, take a look at the ride height, take it for a spin around the block, and bring it back in and check everything again and see where we sit. Well, that definitely moved it up some, but not enough. It's gonna have to go up just a little bit more. I'm not sure at the back though. Let's take a measurement in the back and we'll take a look. So it doesn't quite measure out right. There's still a little bit of discrepancies, but we're gonna drive around the block and see how the car settles, bring it back in, take another measurement, and if we have to take the wheels back off again, then we will. But it looks pretty good for now. Let's take it around the block, see what happens. here we go. Let's just go around the block and see how it does. What a great car. The car feels amazing. It smells so good. It smells just so nostalgic, like it did 15, 20 years ago, I guess, when I had it, you know, 20 years ago. Sold it 15, so I had it 20 years ago. All right, here we go. Get out of here, just take it around the block and get the suspension to kind of bounce into place, sort of settle everything. And then we'll take a look at, see where it's sitting when we get back. But it sure does feel good to drive. Power delivery is so smooth in this car. The shocks feel great. They are adjustable so they can be set. I feel a little bump in the engine when I'm shifting gears. By a bump, I mean maybe the rear transmission mount is broken and it's causing the engine to kind of bounce a little bit in there when I shift gears. I can feel it sort of knocking and pulling on the shifter. Man, I just love this car. Now let's check and see where everything's sitting at. Just driving around the block. If we have to do any more adjustments, now's the time. Let's check and see what the measurements are now. We want to get right in the middle here. Check it out. And right on the money. So let's check the other side and see where it's sitting. Over here, right in the center, what are we looking at? Let's hope for that. 23 3/4. Oh my goodness, that is like, I mean, you couldn't ask for more than that. That is dead. Pretty happy with the rear. I don't know how I got so lucky and got it dead on the first shot, but I'm pretty sure at the front's off. I'm almost 100% sure that this side is still just a bit lower than that side, just from looking at the car. But let's take a measurement and find out for sure. So let's hold that there. Perfect. Let's see what the other side says. Bit taller over here. So I like this ride height a little bit better than the other side, so I'm going to take that wheel off over there, or at least I'm going to jack it up and spin that one up just maybe another turn or two to try to get it to match this side, and I think we'll be there. There are a couple adjustments there. This is about 1/8 of an inch lower than this side, but I want to take it around the block again and just settle everything and see how that does. When we bring it back, we'll take another measurement and see where it is. Kind of a tedious thing, but this is the way this one goes. I'm just getting ready to take it for another ride, just to kind of settle that suspension, but I noticed that, here, look, I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, the ABS light is on. So since the ABS light is on and my buddies have a shop up the street here, I'm gonna run the car up the street. We can plug it in and see what the code is for that ABS, and maybe there's something else we can fix. It's hot right now, so we're riding windows down. On that ABS light, we're up here at Wilmington Oil, Lube and Filter, and they've checked it out for us. It looks like it's the right rear wheel sensor. Thanks to these guys. Back from Wilmington Oil, Lube and Filter, we learned that the rear ABS module or rear ABS sensor is bad on the rear wheel, so we're gonna have to get a new one. We use the snap-on tool that they have over there, but I just found out, wait a minute, I've got the thing around here somewhere. I just found out while we were over there, we looked it up, and sure enough, I could have used this OBD1 reader right here, just plugged it into the port on the other side. It has the actual plug over there. We just plugged it in and it flashed the codes for us, and the ABS light told us that it's the right rear wheel cylinder. So it's gonna just need a new sensor to put on that wheel. So we just gotta order one up and get it put on the wheel. It's only on sometimes, it's on and off. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I'd rather make sure that this thing is tip top. I think we're gonna wrap it up here for now. The suspension's pretty well dialed in. We went over into Wolf and had that ABS taken care of. I just want to take it over to the alignment rack now. There's not a whole lot more I want to do other than maybe line up these body lines, get that looking a little bit better. Also put a coat of polish on it. Next time it's actually in the sun, it looks really nice. But I think we're going to wrap this one up here because I'm going out of town next week. So I'm just going to cover this thing up and tuck it in on that side so that it's not messed with while I'm gone. And we'll see what Mark and James are up to at Road Racing Garage next week. But until then, you guys hang in there. And don't forget,
Stay mad.
yeah, you know it. But the kind of, bless. Once I take it outside, we'll be able to look further.